Every single plant you see has basically won a high-stakes lottery. It's the survivor of this incredible journey we're calling the Great Seed Escape, a mission that is absolutely critical for the survival of its entire species. So let's start with a simple question. Imagine a huge, sprawling tree that just drops thousands of its seeds right at its base. What do you think happens next? The answer to that really gets to the heart of a fundamental problem that every plant on Earth has had to solve. Well, the result would be just chaos. A brutal, all-out battle for survival where all those tiny seedlings are fighting each other for every single drop of water and every ray of sunlight. And you know who their biggest competitor is? Their own parent. Its massive roots and leafy canopy are already hogging all the good stuff. It's a recipe for total failure. So, to solve this overcrowding problem, plants evolved this incredible set of strategies we call seed dispersal. This is the plant world's genius solution, a whole collection of brilliant methods to send their kids far and wide, giving them a real fighting chance to grow and thrive. Okay, so how do they actually pull it off? Well, first up, let's talk about the plants that harness the raw power of the elements. They turn wind and water into their own personal travel agents. And you can see here just how perfectly a seed is designed for its journey. For wind travel, the seeds are super light, and they often have wings or these fluffy parachute-like things. For water, they need to be buoyant, right? So they have these fibrous, air-filled coatings. In every case, it's just this beautiful example of form perfectly following function. I mean, just take the parachute design. A dandelion or a calotropis seed has these really delicate, hairy structures that are just perfectly engineered to catch the slightest breeze, lifting them up and carrying them for miles and miles. And then you've got the helicopter strategy, which is so cool. Maple and drumstick seeds have these little wings that make them spin and twirl as they fall. This spinning actually creates lift, so it slows down their fall and gives the wind way more time to whisk them far, far away from their parent's shadow. Now for plants that live near water, the game completely changes. The coconut is the ultimate voyager. Seriously, its thick, fibrous husk is packed with air, making it a natural, unsinkable little boat that can survive for months out at sea, just waiting to colonize some distant shore. But, just relying on the elements, that's only part of the story. Some plants have evolved to become the ultimate hitchhikers, recruiting living allies to do all the traveling for them. And this recruitment takes a few different forms. Some plants are kind of forceful, with hooks that just latch onto fur. Others offer a reward, like a delicious, tasty fruit. It's a great deal, right? The animal gets a meal and the plant gets its seed transported and even deposited with a little bit of bonus fertilizer. And of course, we humans have become the most significant dispersers of all, spreading plants like tomatoes and wheat all across the globe through farming. That first method is just so ingenious. Seeds with hooks or thorns. They're basically natural Velcro. An animal just brushes past, and bam. Without even knowing it, it's become a taxi service, carrying that seed to a whole new spot before it gets groomed off later. And sometimes, what's amazing is that even an animal's mistake can be part of the plant's grand plan. Think about a squirrel. It buries hundreds of nuts for the winter, but of course forgets where some of them are. Well, those forgotten nuts are now perfectly planted, all ready to sprout into new trees come spring. It's a partnership literally born from forgetfulness. Okay, but what if you're a plant and you don't have wings, you can't float, and you can't bribe an animal with a tasty fruit? Well, some have developed a much, much more dramatic solution: the explosive escape. See, the key difference here is all in the fruit's design. Fleshy fruits like tomatoes are meant to be eaten. That's their whole purpose. But dry fruits, like a pea pod, they have a totally different mission. They are not a meal, they're a launch pad. So here's how it works. As the pod dries out in the hot sun, its structure starts to warp and twist, building up this incredible tension. It just keeps building and building until it hits a breaking point. And then, pop, it just splits open, violently flinging its seeds everywhere. And you've probably seen this happen without even realizing it. A lot of common garden plants, peas, beans, even okra and mustard, they all use this awesome explosive trick to scatter their offspring. And this number right here, wow, it shows you exactly why this strategy is so critical. A single mustard plant can pump out over 10,000 seeds. I mean, without a really effective way to scatter them, the competition would be insane. That tiny explosion is what gives each and every one a fighting chance. So, after seeing all these amazing strategies, it's time to ask the big question. Why does any of this actually matter? Because really, the Great Seed Escape isn't just a cool story about plants. It's a process that has literally shaped the world we live in. It all boils down to this. Seed dispersal is fundamental. It ensures the species survive, it lets plants move into new territories, and it's what drives the incredible biodiversity we see all over the globe. The fact that you can have a tomato from one continent and sugarcane from another, that's a direct result of these incredible traveling seeds. So when you think about it, every single plant is a traveler. And every seed, well, it holds the story of a journey perfected over millions and millions of years. So I'll leave you with this thought. The next time you see a weed sprouting up through a crack in the pavement, or you pull a little burr off your sock, or you just see a maple seed spinning to the ground, take a second and ask yourself, how did it get here? What incredible journey is its story? Thanks for tuning in.